Here's a bold claim. Most people don't actually know what knowledge is. They think knowing is the same as hearing, or repeating, or remembering. But memorizing a quote doesn't make it true. Repeating an opinion doesn't make it yours. And just because you've heard something 100 times doesn't mean you know it. They confuse "I read it somewhere" with "I've tested this and it works." If you've ever felt overwhelmed by opinions, flooded with random information, or unsure who to trust, good news. You're not crazy. The world is full of noise, so let's cut through it. Let's get clear on what true knowledge actually is. Because if you don't know what knowledge is, you'll chase it forever and never know when you found it. Hi there, true seekers. Shirley from AXSIOM, where we make practical philosophy simple and useful so you can live more clearly, more freely, and more truthfully. We live in a time when knowing things is easy. You can Google anything in 5 seconds. You can repeat what your favorite podcast said last week. But here's the trap. Just because you can repeat something doesn't mean you know it. Let me say that again. Repeating information is not the same as understanding it. Memorizing facts is useful, but it's not intelligence, and it's definitely not wisdom. It's just facts and information without direct experience, without proof. That's not knowledge. That's belief pretending to be knowledge. Let's go deeper. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, the definition of knowledge we are looking at is the fact or condition of knowing something with familiarity, gained through experience or association. That's key. Not just knowing about something, but knowing it with familiarity, through experience. That means knowledge doesn't sit in your head. It shows up in your life. Knowledge is tested. Knowledge is lived. Knowledge changes the way you experience reality. Let's look at how this actually plays out in real life. Knowledge is a state of being confident and sure. Take Sally. She's a top tennis player, not just because she's talented, but because she's tested and refined what works for her. Her confidence is grounded in real, lived experience. Her knowledge isn't just theory, it's earned. To truly understand knowledge, you need 2 key abilities. First, the ability to originate your own ideas, to think, imagine, and consider. Sally notices she performs better with a specific type of tennis ball and a particular swing. That's not something she was told. It's something she discovered. That's self-created knowledge. Second, you need to be open to learning from other teachers, coaches, mentors, books, and conversations. Sally has a coach who shares insights from years of experience. He guides her, offers adjustments, and helps refine her game. Her success doesn't come from one or the other, it comes from both. Now, here's the problem. Relying only on your ideas while shutting out everyone else, that's arrogance. You cut yourself off from valuable insight and a broader perspective. But if you only take in what others say and never form your own conclusions, you become robotic, just parroting information, never truly owning it. Sally's smart. She questions both herself and her coach. She blends what she figured out with what she's been taught. That's why she improves. That's why she wins. Success comes from that balance, learning and originating, thinking and listening. That's when knowledge becomes real. That's when it becomes yours. Any information is only as powerful as your ability to apply it. It doesn't matter how much you've read, memorized, or heard. If it doesn't show up in your actions, it's not real knowledge. Knowledge begins the moment you use it and see that it works, as valuable as your ability to apply it. It becomes knowledge when it becomes yours. Let's break it down even further with a simple example. Imagine someone reads a book about gardening. They memorize every step, when to plant, how to water, what fertilizer to use. They could talk about it all day. But until they actually get outside, plant something, care for it, and watch it grow, they don't really know gardening. Reading is information. Doing is an application. Living is knowledge and understanding, and that's exactly how we define it at AXSIOM. True knowledge is something you've observed, tested, and used. If it doesn't work, it's not knowledge. If it doesn't apply, it's not knowledge. If you can't use it to make your life better, it's not knowledge. It's just information, unapplied, untested, and not yet yours. The greatest philosophical argument or dispute has been waged around the subject of knowledge, and you can find every kind of strange or extreme idea about knowledge buried in philosophical texts. Let's further simplify what we mean by knowledge. Knowledge includes facts, information, skills, instruction, and understanding things we perceive, learn, or create through direct action. Because knowledge isn't just something you receive, it's also something you create. When you test something and it works, when you solve a problem or improve a process through your own insight, you're not just following, you're originating. That's self-created knowledge. And when you recognize that it works and continue using it, it becomes stored wisdom, a tool you own. It's no longer theory, it's yours. That's where the real power of knowledge lives, not in what you're told, but in what you can use again and again, because you made it your own. Creating your own knowledge is powerful, but it's not the whole story. While it's essential to originate ideas and test them, true knowledge comes from balancing that creation with a willingness to learn from others. Now, let's shift to knowledge that comes from the outside world. What others have discovered, documented, and passed on. That's why philosophy has struggled with the idea of knowledge. Because retaining information isn't enough. It only becomes knowledge or knowing when you can apply it. Philosophy has primarily concentrated on information without considering the application or cause part of this equation. Until it is applied or created, it's not yours. True power, which has to do with knowledge, is being willing to both give and receive, to be able to be effect and cause. Now let's shift to knowledge that comes from the outside world, what others have discovered, documented, and passed on. When you only cause and refuse to be effect, you get an imbalance. You get tyrants, like a manager who insists their ideas are the only valid ones, constantly forcing their information onto others, shutting down conversations and silencing input. And every meeting, they do all the talking. They never listen. Every policy is top-down, non-negotiable, and rigid. They aren't interested in a two-way exchange. Others are always made to be the effect receivers, never contributors. And in doing so, this manager confuses dominance with leadership. The result? Fear, disengagement, and a team that learns nothing new because no new knowledge is allowed in. Think of Napoleon, Hitler, or Genghis Khan. These were men who forced their ideas onto others, refused dissent, and demanded absolute obedience. They were always the cause, never the effect. No feedback, no exchange, just top-down control. Their so-called strength masked a deep fear of being challenged. True leaders don't just give orders, they listen, adapt, and learn. These men couldn't or wouldn't, and that imbalance is what turned power into tyranny. And then you get the other extreme. The scholar who studies endlessly is obsessively taking in information that is fed to him, making him completely effect. And because he doesn't causatively use the information, he has trouble managing his life, his home, or his own dog. Now think about what years of college with little real-world application do to a student. All that information, but no real ownership, no action, no testing, no use. What kind of knowledge is that? Neither of these is knowledge. Both are imbalanced. Even baking shows us. You need both a recipe and creativity. The recipe is the effect part. You're following guidance and absorbing tested methods. But your creativity is caused by choosing when to knead, how to flavor, and what adjustments to make. You're originating your own twist. Only when you're willing to both follow and originate do you create something truly good. That's the balance of cause and effect in action. And so it is with life. If you want to succeed in life, you need both. You need to be cause and be willing to be an effect. You need to give and also be willing to receive. When this balance breaks, life goes wrong. You get burnt out, confusion, fanaticism, apathy, and insanity. Any information is only valuable to the degree that you can use it. In other words, it only matters if you can make it yours. And that's why AXSIOM doesn't claim to teach you anything. We remind you, because you knew this all along. This is what you were doing before you forgot what you were doing. We're just here to wake it back up. And if you haven't noticed, truth and intelligence are deeply connected to knowledge. That's why at the start of the AXSIOM channel, we're focusing on defining the key principles and words that form the foundation of real philosophy. Once that foundation is set, we'll explore more deeply how truth, intelligence, and knowledge show up in real everyday life. Let's make this real. Let's stop talking about knowledge and start using it. So here's the challenge. Look at your life right now. What are you carrying around as knowledge that you've never actually used? What beliefs or opinions do you repeat but have never observed for yourself? Pick one, just one, put it to test, apply it to your everyday life. See what happens. Don't just believe it, know it. That's how you move from effect to cause. Go to AXSIOM.com to find out about our courses. If this video made you think, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. In the following video, we will expose the hidden barrier to understanding knowledge. What keeps people stuck even when they think they've learned something? You won't want to miss it, and remember, question everything, even yourself. One truth, when understood and applied, can change your life. The truth you're looking for might already be yours. You just haven't used it yet.